Are your kitchen and bathroom way overdue for a remodel? Well, I got the guy for you. Call John Sellers at First Response Contracting, 484-256-7136. Both residential and commercial services, and he's licensed and insured. Call him at 484-256-7136. First Response Contracting. Hey, how you doing? This is Brad Weisman. You're listening to Real Estate and You, where every time we do this, we try to bring up some good information about real estate and what's going on in our industry. And sometimes we just talk about actually nothing to do with real estate, but that's okay. It's kind of fun. I have a really cool guest, as I always do, on the line right now. And we're doing this via phone because my guest that's coming on right now, his name is David Lemel. He's actually working for Coldwell Banker up in Connecticut. And I met this guy a while ago, and I'm just going to bring him on just so we can talk a little bit. So, Dave, you there on the phone?
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
And how's Connecticut?
Excited. Connecticut is on fire.
It's on fire.
It really is on
I don't know
fire.
if that's a good thing to say these days because California really is. So we probably have to watch what we say. Those poor people. I'll tell you.
As I said that, I was thinking the same thing. But it literally is. It's one of the craziest real estate markets. It's definitely by far the most powerful real estate market in the last 20 years, for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe ever.
I agree with you. So it sounds like off the bat, you are dealing with the same things I'm dealing with. And I'm just going to get a little bit of background about how you and I met. Dave and I used to be at Coldwell Banker a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And we went to a little getaway for our production. And we were at the place called The Breakers in Florida. And I was sitting up at the pool, and this guy and his wife next to my wife and I seemed to be very friendly. And we started talking and started having drinks. And the next thing you know, we become very good friends. And that's where we are today. And you've come to our house, and we've met you in New York already. And it's amazing how a relationship can be built off of 3 or 4 days, and it's still going, which is cool. So that's my story.
Amen. Amen. It's a good story, and you got a beautiful family, wonderful people. The nicest family I've ever met, actually, especially like that situation, for sure.
Thank you.
That's a blessing for us and our family to know you so well.
And we feel the same way, just so you know, we feel the same way. So moving on here, you're at Coldwell Banker, you're in Connecticut, and you're saying it's just crazy. What are the biggest challenges that you're finding up in the Northeast there? We're just mid-Atlantic, but, Northeast is not too far, but I'm sure things are different. I don't know. Tell me what's going on.
So I'll tell you, first of all, as you know, I have a team called Team Powerhouse, and our team has been inundated with buyers, which we are so excited and love. And the challenges we're having is the lack of inventory that's on the market. The inventory is at an all-time low for many different little reasons that have happened over the last few months as we've been going through this COVID thing. And it is unbelievable what the bidding wars are like. You have properties that are bidding between $25,000 and $50,000 over asking price.
Oh my gosh!
I'm going to give you an example. I listed a house in an area that, let's say, wasn't the most desirable area. I had 38 showings on in one day a house. How is that even possible?
Yeah,
I had 18 offers.
It's amazing, right? And it's funny, Dave. I swear you're talking from our community. I mean, it from our area. It sounds like it's almost identical to what is going on here, and it's crazy. And the same thing, you said $20,000 to $50,000 over full price. And I don't know about you guys. What are you seeing with inspections? Are people waiving them?
Actually, this is the newest thing that's happened. People are actually waiving inspections, which to me is just a little absurd and nervousness as a buyer's agent, right? Because do you want your buyer to be in that position? But at the same time, you and I as realtors walk through and we can identify, let's say, at least 80% of problems that could be there.
Yeah.
It's that extra 20 that we don't know about that you're worried about your clients getting caught with. What's the worst case scenario that could be here?
Yep, I agree.
But with that being said, it's very important that we make sure we not only protect our clients, but they get the house they want, because at the end of the day, a house, it's devastating to them.
Yeah. And you know what some of us are doing around here, and I don't know if you guys are doing it up there, but you have the 1-year warranties you can put on a house, and some of the buyers that I have that have decided to waive the inspections, which I never ever promote. I'll never say, oh, you should just remove the inspections, because it's hard for me to say that, and because I don't know what that other 20% is, just like you said. And that was a great way of saying it, Dave, is that other 20%. And you know where that 20% is? It's usually like up in the attic, there's mold, or there's a leak that we didn't know about, or, whatever it is. And that 20% though can be expensive.
As a matter of fact, what we've done now recently is we'll do an inspection for informational purposes only. We're buying it as is,
right?
But inspection for informational purposes. And what that does is it still allows the buyer to back out, right?
Yeah.
But it's got to be something catastrophic that they're going to see that's going to scare them away. And I think that's another great helping hand in the negotiating tools today.
Yeah, no, and
definitely.
That's a good one. And do you find that most of the time it still works out, even though they did the inspection?
Yes, I think especially today when buyers know what their options are, and if they're looking to buy, especially if they're selling and buying, their level of motivation is tremendous, much more than someone who's just buying, because they need to. And it's hard, of course, with someone with a contingency, right? Someone's coming with a contingency, they're already at a disadvantage.
Yep.
So their level of importance and desire is much higher.
I agree. So how's the appraisal situation going? I mean, with prices, when you have somebody coming in at $25,000 over full price, the next thing that you and I think are appraisal.
Right. I'm not going to lie to you. It's you start to sweat it out as an agent because your clients, if they're selling, they're counting that money. If they're buying, they don't. Where the ball falls, it falls. But in the beginning of the market, when it first started happening, it was a problem. Now, a few months later, we have comps that are actually showing homes that have sold with higher sale prices. And the appraisers today are held to such scrutiny.
Oh, yeah.
They're
absolutely.
really, really, really. So when your house appraises out for $25,000 asking price, you're super excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your listing agent's done a good job to help them understand those things. I think it's important as a realtor to make sure you come with comps for those appraisers.
Yep.
Sometimes they want them. Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't need your help.
That's
funny.
Sometimes they need your help. But it's been going really well. I just actually met with an appraiser just before I was getting the phone with you, and the appraiser showed up early, and I was there, 2 minutes after 11. They showed up 10:45. I'm pulling in. They're pulling out. I'm like, oh no. And of course the people in the house let them in. So now I'm sweating.
Oh.
In the meantime, so I called the appraiser up. I had a good conversation with him. He's like, nope, there shouldn't be a problem whatsoever, which made me feel at ease, of course. But until I see that appraisal come through,
and just I'm going to make things clear just so the public, anybody listening to this, understands what you're trying to do, so they don't think that we're trying to either pay off the appraiser or try to do anything that is not allowed to be done. What Dave's talking about, and we do it here to Dave too, we do the same thing. If you have a property that's on the market and it goes for over full price, what we like to do is meet the appraiser at the house, which is completely legal to do. We're allowed to do that. We can meet them there, and we can provide to them, if we want to, comparables that we used to price the house or to give us a reason for thinking it can go for the $25,000 over full price. And is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's important because I'm not sure how it is in Sinking Springs, but over here we have appraisers that come from all over the state.
Yes.
So like say, for example, in Cheshire, you meet an appraiser and he might be from 8 or 10 towns away.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean they don't know how to pull comps? They could be able to pull comps just like you and me do.
Yeah.
But you always want to just have an extra layer of protection for your sellers to, do our job and hopefully make them as happy as possible.
Once again, something very much in common, Dave. That's exactly what's going on here too, because people don't realize things had changed. And back in 2007, 2008, when the whole market took a crash, there's a lot of rules that went into place for appraisers. And one of them is that the banks are no longer allowed to call the appraiser. They go through an appraisal management company. And what happens is a lot of times we get these appraisers that bid for that appraisal, and they're from 2-3 towns away. They don't know what's going on here. And that is one of the things that has kind of made it a little bit more challenging for us to make sure these appraisals are accurate. So it sounds like it's the same stuff going on here, Dave. The same kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, with that being said, it's been a really exciting and stressful ride. We're selling homes for more money, but we're selling less quantity of homes.
Yeah, exactly.
And and that affects a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that being said, people need to know that if they're thinking about selling, if they've thought about selling, this is the most unbelievable time to put their house on the market. This
Absolutely.
is the time to make that move.
Absolutely.
Brad, and knowing a professional like you who knows the market and can see, I hate to say see the future, but literally see the future, what they have the opportunity of, they should definitely call you. They should call us and
Absolutely.
talk to us about, what is their house worth today? Maybe they're thinking about doing it next year. What's holding them back from this year? Is it their child is, let's say, a senior in high school?
Yeah.
And they're worried about waiting until they finish graduating. Well, let's look at the options. Get your house in the market, get under contract. Maybe you can negotiate with the buyers coming in some kind of a thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
But leave the options on the table.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen buyers that are doing, hey, let us know when you want to settle, Mr. Seller. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, Absolutely. I've had open-ended settlements. They're like, yeah, whenever we're good, we're in rent. Whenever they're good to go, we just want the house. We've lost 8 agreements. This one's the one we're going to get. So we're fine. We're open. That was something I was going to ask you, is that where do you see two things I had a question on before we end this, because this goes really quick. But before we end this, there's two questions. What is the status of your new construction in your area? Because one of the things really hurting us is our new construction is pretty much non-existent.
So my understanding, not being a, builder myself, obviously, is that the cost of materials and materials available has really had a challenge on new construction.
Yeah.
So that new construction has slowed down. It's definitely still happening. And depending on the town, I know towns locally are definitely having new construction. There's not a lot of land left either.
Yeah.
So what's happening now is a lot of times new construction people are actually buying homes in a group of areas and then demolishing them all and actually building from scratch.
Gotcha.
Which is very interesting.
So it sounds like you have the same challenge we have. It's not a whole lot of new construction going on. One is because of the price per square foot is just crazy. And the other one, the one we have around here is land. We don't have enough land left to build on. So that's one of the challenges we have. And then the other thing I was going to say is, if you had to say that you were like this genie and you could look into the future and know what's going to happen, what would you say? What would you predict for the future of your marketplace up in Connecticut?
Okay, so if I answer this question, understanding that it could get a little political, and I don't want to upset anybody here.
Okay.
But the election is going to play a big role here. Right now, the rates are low.
Yep.
The economy is very strong. The buyer's confidence is very high, and the seller's confidence is very high. If things change, we don't know what's going to happen, but the fear is that the market is not going to be as powerful. That is the fear. That's the fear on the seller's side. It's also the fear on the buyer's side as to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I see that the market should, again, the spring market, you never know how it's going to open up. This spring we got hit with COVID. There were very few homes on the market. Yeah. Typically by January 15th, people are thinking, I need to sell my house, I need to buy. I've got cabin fever, balloon parents, long holidays, this and that. I need to get out, right? That's typical what's going on with buyers. Sellers are like, I'm sick of the winter, I'm sick of the snow, I want to move down south. And, if that normal thing happens, I think things will go very well for us as planned.
Yeah.
But it's really, it's going to be interesting to see. The rates are at the all-time low. I mean, we have buyers getting rates in the twos. If someone has a credit score of 800, their debt to income is good. I mean, it's unbelievable right now. Yeah, it's a great time to refinance if you know good at a mortgage broker too.
I did that. I did that a couple months ago, actually. Yeah. It just made sense. I mean, it starts to make financial sense to do it. But that's some good information, man. I wish you the best up there in Connecticut. I know that you're kicking butt. I know Team Powerhouse is amazing. You have great marketing. I mean, every time I look around, there's something in there about you guys on Facebook. And I'm very proud of what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. You know what's interesting? We were nominated for the last 3 years as the #1 real estate team by Central Connecticut in the Record Journal and the Herald. And they just had another, I'm not sure if they have that back where you guys are, but they just had another round go through for this year. And hopefully win 4 years in a row. That'd be pretty amazing. I don't think it's ever happened
before. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Pretty amazing stuff.
That's very cool.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome. And one thing, we'll talk about that next time. There was something we're going to bring up about something that people don't know about you, but we'll bring that up the next time we talk. How's that?
Whatever you want. I look forward to always speaking with you. You are, listen, if anybody don't know Brad, he is not only a great guy, funny, great to work with, really smart, and somebody you can always speak openly with.
Well, I appreciate that plug. I really appreciate that. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.
All right, you too. So there you have it. David Lemel, fresh from Connecticut, working for Coldwell Banker up there. And just a great friend, great family. Just really enjoy hanging out with him and talking to him. So until next time, we'll see you later. Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136.